Yay!
Hey,
Oh, she's here.
come on in.
Look at the studio.
What's up?
Oh my God.
Hello.
It's
Oh my
wonderful
God.
to see you. Wow.
We're so happy to see you.
How you
Yes,
guys doing? You look beautiful, both of you. So stunning.
You
you
too, my
too.
friend.
Happy International Women's Day.
I
Yes.
know. How awesome
Happy
is that? And that
International
we're
Women's Day.
actually recording this on that day.
With you. Yes. It's
Yeah,
perfect. It's
yeah.
perfect.
Oh my. Ladies, how are we doing?
Good.
We're doing
We're
very
doing
well.
good.
You?
How are you? I miss your classes.
Some ass. I'm just saying. Kicking some ass. That matcha dance is everything.
Oh my
It's
matcha has become the thing now, every afternoon. So we have our matcha dance. Yeah.
Oh,
it keeps me going.
I know. Those are it looks so small, but it's so big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks so small, but it's so big. And the things that used to be big, they look so small now.
Exactly, right? Oh my God.
Anyways, I'm so happy to be with you guys. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for doing this tonight. We're super excited. I mean, we've started this Do What You Like fitness. People had talked to Teray and I last year and was like, we were always recording our workouts and our talks, and they were like, you guys should start a YouTube channel. And we were like, well, we were thinking about it. And finally we just said, let's do it, of just trying to inspire and help other people. And then we decided to do this awesome conversation series where we wanted to bring people on who are inspiring humans, that are like just inspiring the world, inspiring people to do bigger and better things for their health and overall wellness. And as soon as we started thinking of this, I was like, Karine!
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here. When you're speaking just now, I'm thinking about how lucky we are to be in each other's life, doing what we do, and doing it, not just speaking of it, but actually doing it. So I am for it all the way. I believe only in that. Actually, I only believe in that. I don't know any other way nowadays. I mean, literally, I don't. So it's either we're inspiring someone or go home.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. All right, so thank you everyone for joining us today on our Do What You Like Fitness Conversation Series. We are interviewing people who are inspiring the world. And today we are super duper excited to have the one and only Karine. Karine is a Tony nominated dancer, incredible actress. Her list is so long of the amazing Broadway shows, television, film. I'm going to give you just a short list. The Lion King, Moving Out, Saturday Night Fever, Come Fly Away, After Midnight. You've probably seen her on Sex and the City. Films like Frida, Chicago, Across the Universe. But more importantly, she is an incredible human being. And I have had the personal honor of not only being her friend, but taking yoga class from her. She's the most incredible yoga instructor. We are just super excited to have you here today, Karine. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. You're so beautiful.
I'm getting all shy. I'm like, maybe Prince Henry's gonna talk.
And Prince Henry. We can't forget Prince Henry. Wherever Karine is, Prince Henry's there.
Being in the desert, Prince Henry was there in the retreat with Kamochi. It was right there, and with you, Whitney. And I'm very happy to be here, ladies. Thank you for inviting me to a very, very inspiring platform. So I'm honored.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you got into yoga? I think you were dancing still professionally, right, at that time on Broadway. And can you just tell us like what inspired you to get into yoga and to become an instructor? And we'll just take it from there.
Okay, so my path has been more about taking classes as a dancer, so ballet classes. I was very fortunate that I started to swim very early on when I was in the ALVIN AILEY American Dance Theatre. It was in Japan that I don't know why, but there was a pool in the hotel and I started to swim. And I remember the feeling I could only do one lap because I had no breath, I had nothing, but I could feel that there's something happening in that pool. And that was my cross training without knowing that that was me cross training. That was back in the day when we did not know anything about cross training, but somehow intuitively it allowed me to be close to my breath, to find wholeness in the body. So when yoga became a little more present and in everybody's life, but it wasn't like as prominent as now. But around a moment where I was injured, I went into a yoga class and I had pushed my body really like a lot. And not just the body, the mind was pushed. And when you're on Broadway, you do 8 shows a week and you use the same muscles 8 shows a week.
Mm.
So needless to say, the body is not balanced at all. I don't think there's anybody on Broadway that's balanced, actually. That's just the way it goes, right? But there are many things that we can use, right? A nice glass of wine gets you balance. Distraction in a horrible relationship or a good relationship. Nonetheless, at one point you need to balance. It doesn't even matter, right? So I think what happened is that I was very much in balance. I went to a yoga class and the teacher said, he said, this is Tadasana mountain pose. So I was in Tadasana mountain pose, standing up. And he goes, at the beginning of class, he goes, whenever you lose the contact with your breath, meaning with yourself, go into child's pose, kneel down, get to the ground. I think that I may have done 30 child's pose that day. I couldn't even stand and stay still. My body was in such a stress related response of pushing it so hard that it couldn't just stand. And I cried on that mat. I cried. Like my heart opened and I fell to the ground, not literally, but
Metaphorically?
metaphorically.
Metaphorically. Oh,
Big
I
word
can't get
with like a lot of syllable. Anyways, that one. So I fell to the ground many times and I let the earth catch me many times during that class. So when I came out, I knew that something had opened and was ready to be seen. I don't think I was really much seeing it until that class. So that changes everything. That yoga class, that teacher. So after that, I came back and I realized the power behind yoga. I realized that I was like, wow, if that did that to me, how many people could I give that experience to? It became something that I was like, I want to be part of that healing, because I believe like my life has been about healing. Even as an artist, I believe that art is a healer. I believe that while people come to see you perform, they get to heal, they forget, or they think of it differently, whatever that might be in their life. For a while, they laugh for an hour and a half, you know what I mean? So for me, the healing component of my mission is very present. So I realized that if I added a yoga in it as a yoga instructor and really do the work, then I could offer that other limb of myself. So that's how I went.
Absolutely amazing. And your classes, I mean,
Amazing.
I always say it's like going to church when I come to your classes, you know, and it's so healing. And it comes from such a, when you teach, it's from such a genuine place and a spiritual place that sometimes you don't get that all the time in yoga, depending on the teacher, you know, but you have such a beautiful gift for that. And thank you for that. Teray, do you have something?
She really does. I've only been to 2 classes, 2 of your classes when you were downtown, and I loved it. It made me want to try yoga more between Whitney teaching me things and coming to your class. I said, I'll give it a try more. And I've done more, right, Whitney?
Yeah, she's doing great. Teray's doing great. It's incredible.
I have a lot of work to do, but you 2 ladies are inspiring me with that.
Yeah, but you know, the joy of seeing you coming back to me is, you know, it's you realizing that there's another connection with your body that you could get that is different from the everyday life, and you're taking the time to do it. I really believe in that. I believe in people having more of that nowadays than, you know, let me just forget what I do, but let me remind myself who I am in that you're on that yoga mat, right? And it demands for us to show up. You cannot do a yoga class if you're not in the room or if you're not on your mat.
Right.
Just can't. You got to show up.
Right.
That's
Just
true.
like a relationship, you got to show up.
You gotta show up. You gotta be there. Just show up. Just be there. That's the hardest part sometimes. Right?
I'm still trying to get to that level where you said there's a connection, you know, between yourself and your breath and on the mat. And I haven't found that yet. Like for me, it's still a struggle. Like I feel like I'm working out. I'm trying to I'm stressing because I'm trying to get into this pose or that pose. So I haven't found that connection when you guys talk about connection with the body and the mind and the spirit within yoga. I'm hoping maybe when it becomes easier to me, I will be able to feel that part as well.
I love that you say that. I think that that's the actual process. I don't think is that once I have this, I'm doing yoga. You being in the space for it is yoga. It's whatever it is looking for. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, then I'm not doing yoga. No, you showed up, you're breathing, that's yoga. It done. I think our mind wants to label and compare and judge. So all of a sudden, it's us learning not to compare, not to judge. That becomes our yoga practice. And that coming back to that breath, moment by moment, you're doing yoga already, Terry. Yeah, there's no doubt, right? But our mind has been so conditioned on what it needs to look like. I mean, it goes as far as, you know, you need to have the right outfit to do yoga. What the hell is that supposed to mean?
It's a lot of stress like that here in the city, right? When you show up, oh my God, people are like judging you by what you're wearing. And it's like, come on, people, this has nothing to do with yoga. Nothing. Hello, we did yoga. What was it? I can say I actually did yoga in a sandstorm with Karine in the Mojave Desert.
That sounds amazing.
Wait. We were attacked by the wind, and every woman in that, I was going to say that room in the desert, had to figure out what to do with the element without like trying to find peace while your blocks are flying away, your mat is going in one direction. And that to me is also what life is about. Look at 2020. Wasn't that a snowstorm or a sandstorm? That's what we got.
Absolutely.
Whew, yeah.
We were dodging things left and right. Boom, boom, boom.
I mean,
Day
truly,
by
and
day.
try to find constantly, and even when you fell, because I know I fell many times this year, fell to the ground, face to the mud, people, and then coming back slowly, like standing up. That's yoga. That is yoga. That's what we practice, because we can't predict life,
That's right.
even though our mind has the tendency to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Janvier, February, you know what I mean? January,
Yeah.
February, March, April. The months are just following, the days are following. Oh, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. There's noon, there's midnight. Well, you know what? There's life, and it's pretty powerful,
You're right.
right?
Your positive energy is quite amazing.
You just walked
Seriously,
us
because
through a
you know how
tape.
you just said that you fell down, like in 2020, you fell down and you got back up and things like that. But just like seeing somebody like you, people will probably think that you don't have a bad day, or people say that about me because I'm always smiling. So they like, Terry can't possibly get mad, or Shorty. And it happens, or I go through things. I just like to shake it off so I can keep moving. So I don't like sit and dwell in it, for too long. And you sound similar to me, and Whitney the same. Like, we remain positive for the most part, but it's not like there's not obstacles in our way.
It's a true decision. I will tell you, this morning I woke up funky. Okay, I was in a funk. I got mad. I got enraged. Actually, I got enraged, and all of
Oh
a
no,
sudden,
texting you this morning. She's probably like, why is that girl texting me at this time?
oh no! You know what? I was chanting. I was already chanting. So yeah, I was like, get real. But I remembered. I said to myself, what if today was my last day? I was like, oh, wait a minute. What if today was my last day on earth? I don't know that it isn't.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, if it is, I don't want to go out like that. I don't want to go out like that. I'm like, you better put some smile on your face, because you're not going down that route that way. No way. You know what I mean? So it helped me to put things in perspective. But I had to really choose my own mortality today to get real, like to actually shake myself out of the funk that I was going into. Yeah. So
Mm.
But I mean, sometimes that happens. It happens with all of us, right? All of us people who are super positive people, we're going to have a bad day. But in the end, it's our choice, right? Where we change our attitude. And sometimes you just gotta, I mean, I see Teray every single day. So she knows, like, if I come in and I'm in a funky mood, whatever, and I just say what I gotta say, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm in a bad mood. I just need to get this out. And then we're all good. Right. But when you can be real with people like that and say, okay, and I've had the same thing, what Teray was saying. People are like, oh, but you're always so happy, and what, I can't imagine you getting upset. Or if they do see me, because you can't help but see it on my face. When I'm upset, it shows. I don't even have to say anything. You can see it, you can feel the energy. And I'm like, us happy, peppy, positive people, we have bad days too. But in the end, it's how we react to it, right? And like what you said, you were like, oh God, what if this could be the last day? I better change my attitude real quick. You acknowledge what's going on, you deal with it, and then you get over it and you move on.
you know what? Also, it helps to. For me, it helped to. I was not happy about someone's behavior, and the mediocrity of what the action was, and I was not okay with it, and I had to be able to find a way to say it to the person in a way that was value creating. So it was being mindful of how I will share that, being truthful about the way it felt, and what, but also finding a way that it can eventually move us forward together, versus not. And that was what I was struggling the most with, because I didn't want my anger or you know, my whatever, my lower self, you know, of, oh my God, why did that happen, and all that, the victim and this and that coming through. And I was like, that's not it. That's not it. Let's move on to what I want. However, I need to tell the person how it feels, and I need to let them know that that's not the way I roll. I don't want that. So if we are in together, and that's yoga too. Yoga is learning to be true, right? To be in your breath. My breath is actually choppy right now. Like you go to your class and you're like, let me hear the breath. Where is the breath? You're like, okay, I got to find the breath first, right? So here's my breath. Now I'm like, oh, my body is this. Oh, you're in a funk. So all of a sudden you got to go back to that beautiful, pure breath. It's steady, it's grounded, it's unchanging. It's not swayed by, you know, the fluctuation of this, that, and the other thing. That's what yoga is all about. So we are being trained over and over again to be on our mat, to be real, and to step up, to be real and step up and be willing to be at your best at that moment in time. You know what I mean? All of that. That's yoga.
Absolutely. And, you know, yoga is like, well, for me, it's always been such a safe place that I could come to, you know, coming into class at Modo. Yeah, there were days I came in and say, you know, at work, I had one of my seniors had passed away, or I was, you know, we deal with death a lot. We deal with sickness, seeing people that we love and we care for, you know, leaving this earth, you know what I mean? And I mean, it's an honor that we get to do what we do, but yoga has helped me through these years of in this line of work that I've been in. But being able to show up to a safe place on that mat, and like you said, there have been many times where I just knelt down in child's pose on that mat and cried my eyeballs out in the middle of a class. And knowing that you can do that and that you're in a space with a group of like-minded people who are there to nurture, to care, we're all there really for the same reason. And knowing that the teachers like you can create such a beautiful, safe environment for people to be able to come in and do that.
It's so profound. It's so profound. Because Whitney, you're talking also, both of you are speaking about, there was a moment in my career as a yoga teacher where I realized that the people that came to class were divine beings. And they were divine beings. What I mean by this is that it wasn't for the physicality that they were coming to class. It was a real change in my way of looking at people entering the studio. That all of a sudden at 6:15 a.m. or 6 a.m. for the 6:30 class, I could see these people rolling with their, you know, with their mats and with this and with that. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is actually someone with their seeking mind and their seeking heart, wanting to sit and lay, like sit in their mat and connect with that divine human being, that divine being within them. It became such a wonderful thing because I really believe that that's why people come to their mat, even when it looks like, let me just, you know, get skinny. I have nothing wrong. I have nothing against getting skinny.
Right. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm working on it. And
Nothing wrong with the health part, right? But
I think there's more. And you know what else? I also think when we talk about yoga, yoga became huge. All of a sudden it's all about yoga, right? Well, thankfully there was yoga for 2020, because where the hell were we going to go?
exactly.
If he had not been that popular, all you needed is a little mat that's the size of a human being. So more or less people have that in their apartment, more or less. I don't, not all maybe, right? But at least you could have a place where you can lay and then do yoga, breathe. We were already given the tools before 2020 to actually support our lives during this very difficult time, challenging time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, using yoga, I've been able to use that with the seniors, you know, through this entire pandemic. We've still been able to bring them into class and breathe, even though we had masks on. It's still, you know, to breathe and to move together into a space. And every time they show up, I said, you know, thank you for being here. thank you for showing up, because you know, some of them are like, oh, well, I can't do that. It's not about any of that. And like what you said before, it's just showing up. Just show up. This is the yoga right here. All of us just being in the space together and breathing together. It's incredible. It's an amazing gift. And I feel like sometimes that it's like, how can we share this even more with people? Because so many people, well, I found that especially in the senior population, they're scared of yoga. They think that it's standing on your head. They think it's, I'm like, no, just come to the space. Just come be in the space with me. You're doing yoga right now. And they're like, wow, when you see people at 95 and 98 years old taking up yoga, starting yoga, how incredible is that?
See, talking about non-discrimination, that is one form of activity that is non. It never said you need to be a certain way to come to your mat. None of that. And compared to a lot of time, dance can be like this. They'd be like, have you ever taken a ballet class, darling? Do you know what first position? Everybody's like, no. People feel really like, oh my God. Yoga became very like popular for the people that wanted to explore, you know, the flexibility of their body. And they're the one making all the noise, right? The leg behind and this, that, which is great. That's nice. However, the other part that is just like, you just show up and sit and breathe. That's it. That's all.
So many people don't know how to breathe.
It's
That's
really
a whole nother thing. Just breathing.
I'm guilty.
I put my arms up.
Oh, everybody. I mean, all of us.
You know also, which is interesting when you start to find out about the anatomy and the way our body works and functions, that we know that your emotions, your nervous system, not emotion, but your nervous system is connected to your breath. That when I learned that, that actually when I start to breathe like this, like really fast and choppy, I go into flight and fight and freeze, which is basically my career as a dancer. I had no idea that I was supposed to breathe. For 20 years, I didn't actually breathe. I think I inhale but never exhale. So, I mean, curtain was up and Miss Thing was out. You know what I mean? She'd be like, like talking about flight, fight, and freeze right on stage. Today, you know, in my practice, and when I talk to young kids and young dancers, that is one thing we learn to breathe in this class. I don't want you to go across the floor when you're not knowing that you're breathing or you're not breathing. So we're gonna have to stop. Take your time, breathe. But it's like we have I mean, to read the same thing. You're not the only one, right? We aren't taught as the importance of the breath and the quality of the breath. Obviously, we do know that if we're not breathing, very soon it's gonna be a situation, right? It's like, okay, we got this. But breathing with consciousness, that's an actual learning.
I know. I'm trying to work on it. Yeah.
Wow.
Breathing, it comes natural, but it's tough in that manner. You know, we breathe all day, right? But when you say like controlling the breath, like I'll do it for a couple of moves, and then afterwards, now I'm just back to focusing on the moves and forgetting about the breath. So I have to learn to keep that in mind.
I want to give you a tip. This is something that I did for myself. Maybe that works too. Like I will take the class, right? I will take a yoga class, and I realized that I did not breathe. So I was like, well, I'll do what I can. I'll breathe, and then I won't breathe, and I breathe. And then one day I was like, you know what? Let me change the game. I'm going to breathe. The class is going to be about breathing, not the movement at all. Not the movement at all. So I'm going to change what's first, right? I'm going to put the breath first. And when I move, and let's say I don't have the breath anymore, I'm going to stop moving. I'm going to go on child's pose, get the breath back, come back to moving. Back. And that became a turning point in the practice at that time, because all of a sudden I put the importance on the breath versus on me going through the movement themselves.
That's good advice, because I know that, if I can't hold the pose anymore or anything, you go back into child's pose. But to say to do it the opposite way, to work on the breath, that's a good idea. I'm gonna try that.
It's a great
And I'm
idea.
pretty sure somebody watching this is taking this advice and will try it too.
That's right. Absolutely.
I'll let
So-
you know how it goes.
Please.
Thank you.
Karine, so can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now on your platform on Instagram, right? You're teaching classes, or you're doing some stuff for Moto, and I know you have your meditation. If you can tell us a little bit about that, so whomever's watching can join.
That would be lovely. Well, I created a studio called KPVS Studio, Karine Plantadit Virtual Studio, where on there, by going to my website, you can find all the activities of the classes. It's pretty much every day. And then I created a method with Mochi called Kamochi Method. That's what we do retreats. We do classes as well. We started this amazing thing called Sacred Sunday. Shut up.
That's awesome.
Get out. Sacred Sunday is all about females. I'm just
Nice.
saying.
Yay.
So it's classes where we honor the female energy. Let it be from deities to goddesses to rituals to the energy within you that is a wild or tender, and it's all women, and we get to practice together, breathe together, speak together. So this is all about honoring the feminine, right? The female energy within us. So we just Sacred Sunday. It's what it's called. Very excited about this. We started our first one last Sunday, and we started with visualization. It's us realigning with the true sensuality and power of the female energy, from Gaia to Venus to the first female Buddha. Well, you name it, we're going in there.
That's
So much.
awesome. So you can just join. So this is through Instagram, correct?
This is a Zoom class. So if you
Zoom
go
class.
if you go to Kamochi Method on Instagram, Kamochi Method, you can actually find the classes there. You can also go on my website. The classes are on the calendar. You can find it there. We have a retreat coming up. Ladies, one more spot. Just saying. March 24th to 29. We're going to Tulum. Oh,
I saw that. I was like, man, I wish I could go.
5 days. This is happening. I mean, Mochi and I are all about how do we travel, be part of a community, offer safety, and a ground so people can not only find themselves but also step and fly in their own way. So the worm full moon is coming. It will be March 28th. And we're taking the first stages of the butterfly from, the egg to the larva to the caterpillar and to the flight, right? So we're working on those things, bringing people into darkness where they are, and then coming into lightness, opening up. So we're going to do this. Classes on my platform. There's also dance classes on Friday.
Awesome.
I hope you come.
You're doing dance classes on your platform. Oh my gosh.
Listen. First of all, I decided that if we're not dancing right now, we're going down.
That's true.
You gotta dance.
You gotta dance.
You gotta dance. So I decided, I am obviously, like we talked about, professional dancer. I've gone to classes and I've done, but I'm interested to accessible to all people dance classes. To the professional dancers, eventually that will be later. But right now, I want people to go back to dance. And so we have dance, we got Shire, we got fusion, Afro, and modern.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. We're gonna have to join in on this.
Come on, 10 to 11 on Friday. So I know you might be working, but
Oh yeah, I'm at work.
you know what I mean? You escape a little bit, you know.
I could try. Yeah.
There
It's
you
like,
go.
excuse me, I need a break for an hour.
Yeah.
1 hour, you know, you come in and you come, you know, or you don't do the lunch. You come in, you know, and do that with us, and you don't do lunch after that. But that, and I have a teacher from the Batshava dance company in
Oh,
Israel.
oh wow,
He's
nice.
from Israel, and he's teaching us inspired dance from his own technique, and they're all based on Gaga dancing and all that.
Yes,
Oh,
I love Gaga classes. Oh, yes. Awesome.
I'm gonna do, so those two things are happening for sure on Friday, 10 to 11. It's an hour, but I want to add more dance classes, and I'm thinking, you know, there might be jazz accessible to all people. I want to do a sexy dance class.
Oh yeah.
We don't have a pole, but I would have loved a pole dance.
I
Don't have
said
a
they'll
pole.
come out for that.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what but we do sexy dance, you know, with heels and chairs, you know, like
Yes.
feel yourself, go in, you know what I mean? We don't,
Mhm.
we've been confined. Ah, Chiconia, baba baba.
Oh
Yes.
my God, that's perfect. So what? So we have 2 minutes. Tell us anything else you want to tell us.
There's nothing left. Just go to my website. You will see it all. www.KarinePlantadit.com. What's good with Karine? It's an awesome thing on Instagram. If you want to hear about people that are inspiring, Whitney was one of my first person to come.
Yes,
Speaking
yes.
about the
Almost
art,
a year ago.
yes, the art of aging or something like this. The art
Yep.
of, oh my gosh, I will never forget that, Shiri. I
That was
boo-hoo
right in the
that
middle of
thing.
the pandemic. We were the epicenter. Oh my gosh, what a time that was. Thank
Anyway,
you.
so there's many things, but I'm so appreciative of you guys. I want to say thank you for offering the time, you know what I mean, and the platform for us to be able to share and to bring more people into
Yeah.
how you deal with fitness and how more people get to be fit by actually following their heart and their own technique. I really like that. It's awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
so
you.
much, Karine. Thank you. Thank
So
you.
glad you joined us today.
It's a
Pleasure.
true honor. True. And Prince Henry.
Prince Henry.
Who's
Uh,
turning 10, Cherie?
oh my goodness. Birthday
Really?
party.
Happy birthday.
Maybe we could do a
Oh,
party.
Doggy
oh,
party.
party
I'll
hat.
bring Scrappy.
I'll
So
see you guys
great.
very soon.